When I was first given this assignment to think about how gun violence has impacted my life, it just took me back to where I grew up, which was 85th and Olive. We lived there from 1982 to 1989, and that was around the time that I think the crack epidemic really hit. And so there were a lot of guys that were on the block, doing what they did to make money, but they would have guns for protection. And we'd have shootings on the block. I don't ever remember anyone dying. There would be people shot in the leg, shot in the arm, but they would recover. And I do remember instances in which, if something was happening on the block, everyone's getting down on the floor. There were many nights where we'd actually have to make our beds on the floor because it was just too hot outside. Me, my mom, my sister, my grandmother, my brother, all laying on the living room floor because, like they say, boys don't have a name. And so I had to be mindful of that. Not too long after we first moved there, I'd say like in 83, 84, our front window actually got shot out. And so we had to replace all the windows on the first floor with plexiglass because they could just go right through. But again, I don't remember anyone really dying. There was one guy on the block who was coming up. He actually had been taken up to Golf Links Road and murdered and dumped there. So it was the only person I knew that had been murdered by gun violence. But in 89, I think this is probably what pushed my mom to move us out of that neighborhood because it just was really getting bad. On 82nd and Olive, there was a guy who lived there and his whole house got shot up with an AK-47. And I remember the police blocking off that part of the street. And what was interesting, what stood out to in my mind about that shooting was that his house had like a yellowish paint on the exterior, and the borders were like a brick red, and you could see where his blood had dried up right on the yellow paint. And so that burned into my memory. And I remember my mom was like, if you guys need to go to the store, it's like a few blocks away, I'll drive you. You guys aren't, I'll walk in. And I think that was the point where she was like, I'm done with this neighborhood, we're going to move to somewhere else. So we moved near Mills College in 89, which is a much better neighborhood than 85th and Olive. What I'm noticing right now in terms of gun violence is that it's becoming more prevalent within that neighborhood now, where you hear a lot of activity happening on Seminary, a little past Mills College, near Maxwell Park. There's actually been 3 murders that's happened near the 55th Avenue, Mills College area. And it's very close to home because one happened in broad daylight, actually around the time when I would be coming off of work. So I'm kind of thinking about, something definitely looking over me to protect me from that. But it happened at 4:30 in the afternoon on a Monday, where a guy got shot. So in my honest opinion, guns didn't exist. If that just didn't happen, I just really would think they would be a whole much better place. But it definitely has an impact on communities. It definitely weakens the structure of it. It has a huge impact on the family structure as well.